Let's go ahead and get started. Thanks for joining us for this call. During this, if you have any questions, you can just go on the chat and type in your question and we'll be sure and answer those for you. You can ask at any time. I will give some time at the end as well. So again, we appreciate you all being on here. We just want to be sure that no student currently attending a private school will have to leave that school because of financial impact. That's why we're also wanting to be sure that for 1920, that they can get on a scholarship so they'll be eligible next year for a voucher. We just want to help these students. We don't want anyone to have to leave and say, we can't come back. We sure didn't make it this year, so there's no reason to even try for next year. A couple of things I just want to go over. First of all, this is for applications, for new applications for 1920. These are for families that are affected by COVID-19 who have either lost their jobs by being laid off, they just lost their job or fired or whatever, furloughed, or had their income reduced as a result of this pandemic. They can now show that their income meets the requirements of the SGO program. They can receive a scholarship to meet this obligation. Just so you know, just remember that the deadline for this application submission is May 15th. We can't really go any farther than that. So we're hoping that this gives you plenty of time to get any students on that need to be on. In saying all of that, remember that a previous tax credit scholarship recipient is qualified to receive a voucher in the following school year as long as their income requirement for the voucher programs are met. So working with your families to help them during this difficult time not only helps them with their 1920 tuition, but may also provide them with financial aid through the voucher and tax credit program in 2021. Remember that the minimum amount that the law states is that the scholarship must be at least $500, and that's still in place now. So it has to be at least a $500 scholarship for them to be eligible for the 2021 school year to receive a voucher. When submitting a new application in the portal, please be sure that you click on the 1920 application. If you accidentally click on the 2021, like me, we will not be able to process that scholarship because we'll have no idea that you're wanting it for 1920. We'll just assume that it's for 2021 because we're already receiving 2021 applications this school year. If you do, by chance, accidentally click on the wrong year, you can email Julie, and all of you know her email address, but I'll give it to you again, julie.sutherland, it's JULIE SOUTHERLAND at i4QED.org, and she'll be able to get that revised for you. But be sure that you let her know, because like I said, if you click on 2021, we're just assuming that it's for 2021. You will need to help the family complete the verification form that I attached in the email last week, and then I also attached it in your reminder again this morning. Most of you probably are already familiar with that verification form. It's the same form that the DOE uses for the choice scholarship or for the voucher. But if you're not, I just kind of want to look. What you'll need to fill out is pages 1 and 3. Page 1 is the household summary form, and you'll just need to go over down towards the bottom. You'll see where it says if the household income is incorrect, so that's the part you're going to want to use. List the documentation that has been collected to calculate that new income. No application should be submitted without supporting income documentation. You can use, for that documentation, you can use an unemployment check. You can use a letter from their employer. Anything that documents their loss of income or decrease of income will work for that. They'll need to go ahead, right below that, it'll ask for their AGI on their 2018. It'll ask for that, and then it will also say what the income that you're showing, that what they're saying that they have. So you'll need to put both of those incomes on there. They'll need to sign it and date that. The other part of that is on page 3. and it's just called the income assurance form. And they'll need to complete that and just sign and date that as well. So all we need is page 1 and 3. And I say that's something that you'll need, because you're going to go ahead and put that in the student's file. So the application or whatever it is that you put in the student's file for their SGO applications, that's where you'll keep this as well. So you'll keep that documentation there at the school. Another thing is that we're just asking that schools use their funds that are available in the SGO account to cover these scholarships. However, if there's not enough in your account, please reach out to us. So we may have additional resources to assist your families. We don't want any student to not get a scholarship for this year. Like I said, when we first started, we know these are trying times for families, and we want to make it less trying if we can. And so helping them with SGO application, assuring them that more than likely they'll apply, they'll be eligible for the voucher next year is what we want to do. With that, starting there, do we have any questions on submitting applications or anything? Ted, are you looking for the apps for me?
Unmute myself here. We do have one question so far. Are we able to do entirely new applications for school year 1920 for families who have qualified all along and have not had a change in income?
So you can. I'm not sure why they weren't already on a scholarship. I mean, if they were eligible all along for this school year, they should have already been on a scholarship. But that's fine. If for whatever reason you forgot about them, or I mean, I'm not sure what the reason is, but yeah, that's fine. As long as it's a new application, you can go ahead and submit that. Are there any other questions?
Not so far, but next time we have a break.
It's Betsy. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Apologize for jumping in, but there is another question in the group chat, but in parentheses behind it, it says privately. So I don't know if I'm the only one who can see it, which is why I jumped in. And the question is there any help for pre-K students?
Not with us, because our program is kindergarten through 12th grade. I don't know, Betsy, I don't know if anyone can, I really don't know anything about the pre-K programs, but for the SGO or for scholarship granting organizations, we can only do kindergarten on.
And so just to add to that, that's correct. So even under state law, the tax credit scholarship program does not go down to pre-K. There is On My Way pre-K, and if a pre-K student has participated in the On My Way pre-K program and then wants to attend that same school for kindergarten, they would qualify that way for a kindergarten scholarship, but not for pre-K.
Correct. Yeah. I see a question from Jan. It says, I know you had to submit a list to the state at the end of March. Is the state okay with this extension? Jan, everything's fine. We don't have to turn in our absolute list until August 1st. It has to be done by August 1st. So this is just fine. Do you see any questions, Ted, anymore?
Yeah, we did have it. How would we calculate the new income? Just subtract out the lost income, or just go based on check stubs?
You can just go based on what their new income is as of now. What you'll want to do on that form, though, you will want to show their AGI that was on their 2018 taxes, or what they're showing as their what they showed their income before that made them not eligible. And then you're going to want to show the income now that makes them eligible. So if that means looking at pay stubs for as of now, that's fine. If it's a letter from employer, it's fine. Like unemployment checks, anything like that, that shows what their income actually is right now. Those are things that you can use.
There's another question about a family that has received an SGO grant already. Basically, can we give any more to families that have already have a grant?
We're not, no, I mean, we're not extending, we're not going to increase grants at this time. This is really basically for only new applications.
I got another one that was, again, had the private behind it, so I think I'm the only one who can see it. It says this will only apply to a family that still has at least $500 left in their balance for tuition yet to pay this year, correct? Yeah, so I think, the question is, this would only apply to a family that still has at least $500 left in their balance for tuition yet to pay this year. So I think the question is, if they have paid all of their tuition for the 1920 school year, or if the balance they have left to pay for the 1920 school year is less than $500, could they get a scholarship, and would this apply?
So they could get a scholarship, although remember that they will not be eligible for the voucher for the following year because it has to be a $500 minimum grant.
And so I would just add to that, if you believe that a family who had paid would now qualify because their income has been so negatively impacted, maybe they've lost a job, what have you. And I think you could also look at where you as a school could either, let's say they had a $300 balance left for the school year, maybe you refund them $200 that they have already paid you and give them a scholarship for $500 to both meet the requirements to make them qualified for a voucher next year and meet the minimum of the SGO. So, and another option would be, of course, that you could provide a scholarship of less than $500, just knowing that less than $500 does not qualify them for a voucher in the fall.
Yeah, those are really great ideas.
I have a couple more questions here. Can someone who had an SGO in the past but did not have one last year get another? Or can they use their past qualification and not need a new SGO?
I mean, they can get a scholarship, but they would also already be eligible because the way this law states, it's previous year. So they would be eligible for a voucher next year using that pathway from the year before.
Then we also had a question about where the forms are that you referenced earlier.
I attached those forms in the email that I sent you. So it's there. It's also, we did a beginning of the year, we gave you all an SGO guide. I don't know if you can see it. I've got it right here if you can look at it.
The forms, we can resend that out after this call as well.
Right.
Just
so
make sure
if you did not receive it as an attachment or you don't have it in this guide, it's also in the DOE website, but we can send it out to you as well. Just email me and I can email it to you again.
And then question about this will only apply to a family that still has at least a $500 left in their balance for tuition yet to pay this year, correct?
I think that Betsy already answered that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we may have some duplicates.
Yeah.
Or already been covered. Can donors to SGO give a donation on behalf of a particular individual's student.
They still cannot do that. They can give to your school and we can use it for those students, but donors cannot give to individual students. Anything else?
I think we're caught up right now.
So we'll wait a minute and see if anyone else has any questions. In the meantime, I just kind of, a couple more things we were looking at. If any of our schools have established an emergency relief fund that supports your students and families impacted by COVID-19, we would love to hear from you. We'd like to know what that is. This fund could provide assistance for tuition, fees, related educational expenses to families in need for either 1920 school year and or 2021 school year. So if you're raising funds for this effort, please let us know. We would love to know what's going on there with our schools. Couple of other questions. Just wondering, our policy director had asked me to ask these. Has your continuous learning plans been approved by the DOE, or are you having challenges with this? So if anyone can answer those through the chat, let us know. And the other question is, are you having meaningful conversations with your LEAs about CARES Act funding and equitable services? So we'd love to hear answers from both of those if you have them. Do you see anything, Ted?
Looks like a couple have been approved.
Great. Has anyone had any challenges? Looks like everyone's being approved. That's awesome. Okay. So on those questions, if you have questions about either one of those, just send me an email. We'll get some answers for you. What we can do, you can just send it to me and I will forward those questions on, and we'll see how we can help you with those. All right.
Ed, maybe we can take all of these and do a, questions and answers and send it around to the group, and particularly put some discussion around the CARES Act and the LEA, because I think it's going to be, it depends on every school's relationship with their LEA, but, I would say don't wait for your LEA to contact you. Make sure that you contact them, and that they understand that private schools are to have equitable access to those dollars as well. And so, but we can maybe send out some more on that.
There was a question about according to the link of this being whether it's being recorded. Yes, and there'll be some follow-up of that, as well as summary and some Q&A. Want to make sure that questions are answered, and there are a number of folks that couldn't attend today, so we want to make sure that we do get the information out from this call.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Does anyone else have anything else, or any other questions, or anything we can help you with right now?
This is Betsy. Just one last time, I wanted to say thanks to everybody who was able to attend, and a big thanks to Mary and Julie and Ted for all your work. But again, the goal here really is, in these crazy and ever in unique times, we all know that our families are being impacted and our students are being impacted, and we want to make sure that no child cannot return to the private school that they love and have been attending because they can no longer afford it. And so, you know, I would urge folks to really try to communicate to families and see how many of them we can get qualified.
Exactly. Yeah, we want to help. We want to get everyone that we can help with this, as we said earlier and as Betsy said. So it's important to us, and I know it's important to all of you. And we really do appreciate our partnership with you all. We appreciate all that you're doing. I know this is tough for all of you. I mean, it's a learning curve for all of us. And so we appreciate all that you're doing with the students in your schools in this new environment. So if no one else has anything, I think we'll just go ahead and close. Say thank you again. We appreciate you all being on here.